Today's project, we are going to replace the toilet seat on a standard round toilet. Going to use a pair of pliers, a socket, 5/8 inch socket with a 3/8 drive. I have an extension here. We may not need it. Of course, safety glasses, because I'm not a germaphobe, but you're working around toilets and you don't want to get splashed up in the eye, even if you're not working in the water. It's always a good idea to wear glasses. And then along that same lines, some good rubber gloves, some heavy-duty rubber gloves. I got these from Harbor Freight. Again, when you're working around toilets, you don't want it's just kind of nasty. Trash bag for the old one. Vinegar for cleanup afterwards. And then a old rag. This is for a standard round 16.5 inch or 42 centimeter toilet. So we're going to replace this toilet seat. So it's broken here. The hinge is really worn. It's just a finish, but as you can see, it's chipping here. So we're going to get a new one, and that's chipped. That one's broke. So basically what we're going to do, for now I'm going to go ahead and close it, because I don't want to go fishing. I don't want to go fishing in there. That before. And so that's where we have to be, right there. It could be finger tight, and it is finger tight on mine, because when I installed this, I don't know, about 10 years ago, I didn't put them too tight. So this is finger tight, but if you have to, you can use a 5/8 inch. That's a 5/8 inch socket. Fits right over right here. It fits nice in that groove. This is actually a 6 point. So one of those notches, edges, fits on there. But again, mine's is just hand tight. So I can just take it out with my unscrew. And of course I'm wearing gloves here. So I'm just going to unscrew that. And I like to stay tight. So we're gonna go to the other side and do the other side. So here I'm just moving it with my fingers. It was just finger tight, but if you had to, you could use a socket like I mentioned, or pliers. But pliers, just be careful that you don't chip the fixture, don't chip the porcelain. So again, we're just taking this out by hand, because this is relatively new. I found on some of these they get corroded. Maybe a little WD-40, just squirt on there and let it sit. But again, we're just taking this out by hand. Okay, this other side. It's tighter than hand tight. So usually I'll just put the 5/8 socket, and sometimes that'll be enough leverage for me to unloosen it by hand. And this is skipping. So the 5/8 didn't work this time because it's skipping. So let's go ahead and use a pair of pliers. So here's our pliers, and we're just going to unscrew it like this until we can get it off with our fingers. And you may have to try it a few times. Go back with the pliers just to get it unloose. Let's see if it's, yeah, and then I can take it off by hand. So yeah, I'm off by hand. Pliers, but as you can see, that nut is worn, so my 5/8 was slipping. So I thought that was a good idea, but obviously it did not work, so that pair of pliers is working out for us. And then again, I'm just taking it out by hand. And we can set these in the trash, these nuts. We won't need them anymore. But let's make sure the new kit comes with it. So again, this is the Bemis Home Depot special. This is for a round bowl, 16.5 inch. This is a standard bowl size, not the elongated or not anything fancy. So this is the Home Depot color white to match the old one. And this is how it comes, and I just want to make sure to be careful so it don't slips out of my hands. It comes in a little package, and then there's a little bag with all of our hardware. And it looks like we do have to manually screw in those studs on each side there. So let's go get some Loctite. For additional setup, the tools that we needed. Here's our 1/2 inch wrench. Comes with 2 bushings here. These are the bushings. And then 2 nuts. And then 2 studs. So the instructions. So the first step 1 is to thread, bolt into hinge. This is where our Loctite comes in. So we're going to do step 1 now. Okay, I went ahead and used the blue stuff on about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch from the edge. I love that Loctite. Just, it was pretty liberal on the several squirts. So now we're just going to screw them in here. So we're going to screw them in as far as they go. And then what I'm going to do, put that one aside and then take the other one and then do the other side as well. I'll just leave the plastic on it. I know it doesn't say it, but I'm just going to cinch these down with the pliers. Just be careful not to mess up the threads. I want to cinch them down. I go fairly tight, maybe even up to 15 pounds, but pretty tight on that. And then this other side, I make sure it's all the way threaded in, and it is. And then I just grip it with my pliers and really, I really put it not super tight. I don't want to strip out the threads. Pretty tight. Step 2, push bushings onto bolts. Okay, we're going to pull up the old seat because we unloosened it, and it may take a while. Sometimes it catches, and as long as the nuts are loose, as you can see here, that's just over time the corrosion. So now is a good time to take our vinegar, and I have a paper towel and or a rag, and we're just going to wipe this rim down since we're here. So I soaked this with vinegar. You can use an old rag, and we're just going to clean all this up. Just like that. And then we're going to go to the other side, the bottom side. So here we're going to clean all that up too. Yeah, we're going to clean all that up. and you want to do both sides. And then I shove in that mounting hole, and then wipe the, and then also wipe the rim down as well. This is a great opportunity to check toilet inspection. So that's the nut that connects the bowl to the tank. Usually those get corroded really bad. If it starts leaking there, then you can tighten it, or you may have to reseal that, reseat that. Obviously you have to drain the bowl, or drain the tank, shut the water off, so I checked the gasket. It's hard to see, but with the flashlight I checked the gasket between the tank and the bowl. If that's corroding or leaking, obviously it's fresh because we just cleaned around it, but I look all around the bowl. And then go on the other side, and then go behind and check both sides and make sure that's not leaking. Make sure your studs are holding your tank and your gaskets are good. Now also too is a great time to check, there's your supply line. Make sure it's not leaking. If it's excessively corroded, that means you have hard water. But I want to check to make sure there's no leaks. It's not dripping. Well, leaks and dripping, the same thing. And that looks good there. And we want to check the condition of our hose. Usually when I replace every fixture, I put a date stamp on my hose so I know when I replaced it. This I have along the logs. I replaced this about 5 years ago. I check the condition of the hose, and then our good old shutoffs. I check the condition of the shutoffs, and this wasn't replaced, it was not too long ago. But I check the condition, obviously if it's not leaking or corroded, and then obviously check my ends right there, my connections. Make sure there's not leaking as well. So this looks good here. Okay, it comes with these bushings. They go in there like that, and they do take a little bit of force. So you can either push them in by your finger or your palm. Just snap in really hard, and they sometimes in that one. Well, if it breaks off, I think I probably need a new one of those. We're going to install it, but I was more careful on this side than I was over here. I was a little aggressive. And I broke out the little center insert, so maybe I can hold it. I was able to fit it back together, even though some of it broke. So I'm going to be a little more gentle putting it in there, because that little center insert is the bushing for the bolt. Well, it's not behaving. So I'm wondering, once we tighten the seat, if they will pull in place, because I don't want to put a hammer on this, and I don't want to put a mallet. I pressed as hard as I mean, not as hard as I could, but within reason. This other one popped into place, and I think what happened was the hole in that is slightly irregular, so it's not as graceful as the other one. So I want to put it as much as I can in place, and then hopefully as the seat tightens down, it will tighten that down as well. So that one went in really well. The other side, not as much. So that's probably going to come loose. I may have to replace that later down the line. Here we are, putting that one in, and then this one I had to put in by hand, screwed in by hand, and then lift it up and kind of shove it in there. There it is. Now when we tighten it up, that'll come flat. Now this other side I'm a little wondering about because I kind of messed it up, but we're going to go on the other side, and this is where we tighten it until these break off. On the one side, that end goes, and again just finger tight. And then as I'm tightening it, not super tight on that. And then I'm pushing that down and then tightening a little bit. I'm actually putting some weight on it with my other hand. Pretty. So I push back so I can center that, and then we want to make sure the bowl, this time we can take the plastic off. Make sure the bowl's center, and then we'll just tighten this. And usually, as you can see, that's moving a little bit, and then I tighten it some more, and then we're going to get the little wrench, half-inch wrench, and then it says to tighten these till they break off. 4 attach nuts, and then bolt down seat number 5 there till they snap off. So it says they snap off, so who knows? There we go, broke off. So that's good, and then we'll go the other side. And I'm coming towards the front of the toilet to tighten it. It broke off. So there we go. Kind of a, then you can throw those away, and I'm whittling it here, and I don't see any movement. Here's what it looks like. Clean that up a little bit here because we got a little bit of Loctite there. And you want to return it, you know, in better condition than you found it. So the old one we're going to put back. We're going to put in the trash bag, and then we're going to put in the box and throw away. And then those little broken nuts, we're going to throw those away, and then the old nuts as well. So great job. And then this is also a good time. We did a good job there, but to check your fittings here on each side for your inspection. Those usually get corroded, and there's usually mine's is missing the top. But those usually get corroded, and then we want to check around the gasket around here. Make sure there's no corrosion or leaks. We don't probably need to clean that a little bit myself, but we don't see any corrosion around there. Let's check the other side. So this looks good here. And we want to check around the gasket around the toilet. Peek inside the tank. This is a standard flapper. We just want to take a peek. See, usually that chain down there gets super corroded, and that usually breaks. This is what usually breaks right here. And then this breaks off. And then, yeah, sometimes you have to adjust your float. Obviously this is working good, so let's go ahead and try it. And our fill tube is working good. There's a little dusty in here, but usually those bottom bolts always get super corroded. Like I said, this was recently changed out a few years ago, so it's a fairly new. And our float's good, this chain's looking good. Like I said, usually this chain breaks off. And some of them are made of plastic, which is, I think, is really dumb. But sometimes you have to replace the chain, then you have to replace your flapper, and your hand, sometimes your rod here breaks off. This is a little dirty, but we're looking good. It's filling okay. The float's filling. The fill line looks good here. So yeah, this looks good. I never put cleaner down there. I never put cleaner. Because what happens is those toilet bowl cleaners will eat your rubber. Eat your rubber gaskets all up. So you never want to put toilet bowl cleaner inside your tank. No toilet cleaner inside your tank. This is clean water. Because those toilet bowl cleaners, those little pads or chunks or whatever, they'll eat that gasket up. They'll eat all your gaskets up and really mess all this up. So again, this is about 5 years old. I never put any cleaner in there, because this is clean water. It's a little dusty, but yeah, everything looking good here. But this is a good idea. You already got your tools out. You might as well check and do an inspection. So yeah, we're looking good here. The toilets, this is looking really good. Oh, one last pet peeve. I don't care if you're a dude, women, whatever. I don't care who you are, but my pet peeve is once you're done doing your business, shut the lid. Shut the lid. Once you're done doing your business, once you're done, always keep the lid shut on your toilet. Always keep the lid shut. Lid down. I know some dudes just leave the seat up if you're a bachelor and you know, you don't have to lift the seat up, and I know this is a big deal and sometimes controversial, and sometimes ladies will just leave the seat up like that. But I don't care who you are, when you get done with your business, always shut the lid. That's why the lid is there. Why? For many reasons. People like to store stuff on the top of your tank. People like to store stuff above your tank. What happens is, it's not if, it's when stuff falls in there, and you got to go fishing in there. Personally, I don't want to go fishing, finding my keys, find my phone, my glasses, drop inside the bowl. And two is the bacteria and stuff that gets in here when you flush it, all that spray stuff goes in the atmosphere. That's why these have a lid. So when you're done using the toilet, always shut the lid. Always, always. I know some dudes will be complain and say, oh, I'll just leave the seat up. Okay, so I can take a leak. Okay, fine. You get done taking a leak, put it down, flush. Keeps down the odors, keeps down this bacterial spray, and the biggest thing is so you don't go fishing. You don't want to go fishing in there. You don't want to go fishing for your glasses or your cell phone inside the bowl. And this is a clean bowl, but a lot of times these get pretty nasty, and that's when your stuff falls deep in there. So I don't understand why people just close the lid. Just keep the lid closed when you're done using the toilet. Anyways, that's my rant. So I hope this was helpful, and good luck with your project. Oh, you want to inspect the bottom of your lid. During inspection, like this has a nice color code. This is a nice chart for this toilet. This is a little dusty. I need to clean up this. It's a little dust. Just want to make sure it's not cracked, because this is porcelain. And these are very brittle. These crack easily crack, and they're kind of heavy, so use two hands. But sometimes, there's our date stamp, April 10th, 2013. So as you can see here, this 2013 is this toilet, and you can see Keep this, try to keep this nice and clean. So hope this helps. Hope this was, and again, part of your inspection.